Hello, 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 and welcome to After the Bell Rings, a podcast about controversial issues that affect us as high schoolers. We're your hosts, Yadashan,
Shaitan.
And Rishi.
and introducing our newest host.
Hello, I'm Varshit, and I'm glad to be a member of After the Bell Rings.
Here we'll be uploading episodes every 2 weeks, and each episode will be on a different topic that is significant to us. Our hope is to create a rich community revolving around the changing nature of high schools and the problems that students have to deal with. Before we start, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button if you are enjoying our content.
In today's episode, we'll be talking about the recent changes to the SAT. The SAT is a test that most students will take in their lifetime, and the recent changes have caused a stir in the high school community, especially for us as juniors. Anyways, let's jump right into today's episode. So, did anyone have anything they wanted to start with?
So I want to talk about how the SAT is kind of like an unfair advantage for juniors because they've been working on a much harder version of the SAT. They've been practicing and grinding that, while the freshmen are getting a much easier version where it's less time and more time per question, and they don't have to work as hard compared to the juniors who spent a lot more time getting a good score on the SAT, as it's very crucial for college.
So I think part of the advantage in that is that you have to take it into perspective, right? So for example, with the SAT that like our current class of juniors is dealing with right now, yes, it's technically harder, but at the same time, colleges will look at it differently. So because it's harder, it's worth more to colleges. Whereas, for classes after us, it may be easier, sure, but it's worth less, right? Because colleges will understand, hey, it's easier. So getting a good score on this type of test is not that hard compared to before, so it should be worth less.
Theoretically,
I agree
potentially.
Theoretically,
I agree with
think they
that.
balance it
I
out.
agree with that because remember when the SAT changed back in 2016 from a 2400 scale to a 1600 scale? I think it was more valued and more looked at when it was a 2400 scale compared to now. So yeah, I think I agree with the fact that what Tritan was saying is that when the difficulty of the entire test overall decreases, I'm pretty sure colleges will consider it less as an actual evaluation of your capabilities when admitting you to their college.
Yeah, so I mean, the thing with the way they're changing the test too is that, like, for example, in the I think the way that they change the test so that they keep the scoring the same, but they change that, like, the time limit and stuff is interesting, right? Because I was wondering how that would impact things like the reading section, for example.
Yeah, the reading section is actually now only one question per passage.
Bruh,
what?
one question? One question.
Wait, that doesn't even make any sense. What?
Bro, dude, we're at 52 questions right now. You're telling me
Yeah.
they reduced the entire reading section to one question
No, one question per passage.
for four passages?
I think the only way they can properly implement that is that I think maybe it's shorter maybe paragraphs, and then one question.
Okay, so it's
tied to
basically
a
another
single
writing.
paragraph.
So it's basically another
But
writing
even
section.
then, even if they're shorter and we add if they add more passage per let's say it's 10 passages instead of 5 this time, it's still only going to be 10 to 15 questions instead of 52 questions, which is a completely different change.
10 to 15.
Yeah.
Are you serious right now? Where are you getting that from?
Well, I didn't get it, but College Board said the digital SAT will feature shorter reading passages with one question tied to each. But surely they're not going to have 52 passages, right? That's too much.
How do you know?
I think I'm pretty sure it's a small paragraph. There's no way they could possibly have 52 passages and finish the test in 2 hours with the math section and the writing section.
Okay, that's true. I forgot they reduced the time limit. Yeah.
If you take out one, I guess they could work it out, but I mean, I feel like the math sections would be longer. Right, and they've even changed this now. The calculators are allowed on the entire math section.
Did they say they would reduce every section or just reading?
No, they didn't specify. They just said the 3-hour test will now be shortened to 2 hours.
I see a big problem in that too because they didn't specify anything, right? So I mean, obviously they will when they get as the year transitions, but so making such a big change to SAT and then not telling anyone about the specifics keeps a lot of the students in the dark, right? Especially this the class right after us, the upcoming juniors. they have no idea what they're preparing for, essentially.
How long is the PSAT?
The PSAT is okay. So normal SAT is like three and like a little bit over 3 hours, like 3 hours 15 minutes.
Including
PSAT's
breaks and all that, yeah.
yeah, PSAT's somewhere.
It's
It's
like a few minutes shorter because like
I thought it was between 2 and 3 hours.
it
I
is
think not.
it's not a big
Uh,
difference.
With breaks, I'm pretty sure it exceeds 3 hours. But yeah.
Okay,
Really?
so then we can compare. I mean, now we're just theory crafting, but potentially the future SAT would be comparable to the PSAT.
Yeah,
I mean, in
essentially.
terms of time, at least.
I don't know.
It's-
It's like a different layout too, so I don't even know what to expect.
You think they'll change the PSAT too to match the changed SAT?
No. You're talking about comparing the PSAT now to the digital SAT, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's really comparable because like the whole layout of the digital SAT is.
I
Like-
mean, not that. I mean, in terms of time and how the.
Oh, okay,
stuff-
yeah. In the time, then yeah, maybe.
So the problem
Yeah.
with the SAT still being scored on a 1600 scale is that during this transition between the digital and physical one, colleges will have no idea who took the digital one and who took the physical one because they're not going to completely transition in a day. For example, like it's going to be a slow transition. So when someone submits a paper score and digital score, colleges don't know, and someone will get a higher score. So that's why I think it's an unfair advantage.
Wait, why would they? Why would they not transition immediately once the new year starts? Pretty much.
For example, for us juniors, College Board offered a $50 opportunity where we can take the SAT, and if we do well, we can send that score instead. But obviously, if we do well on that and bad on the physical one, it's a disadvantage to those guys who can only submit the physical one, didn't take the digital one.
I mean,
But is it a disadvantage? Is it?
so I wanted to touch on that because we have to like compare it to like the two SATs, like right. So like our class, what we're taking right now, technically we're supposed to be. I think the idea was to take the not digital, physical SAT only, right? Because the whole idea of giving a digital SAT instead of physical SAT is that it doesn't affect the class that is currently applying for or is currently planning to apply for college, essentially, right? So that's why they would normally restrict it to our current junior class. But because they're now offering this kind of digital pilot, where not only they're paying you $50, which I mean it's kind of ridiculous, I think, but also on top of that they're letting you report that score, and if the test ends up being easier, I feel like it's giving an easy bailout to students who haven't really prepared or put in the work to do good on the actual physical SAT. I think that's what he's referring to by an unfair advantage. What do you guys think?
But like, if you think it's unfair, just take the digital. What's stopping you from taking the digital one?
Well, I mean,
Not
Yeah,
every.
they offered us opportunities in the first.
Yeah. I mean, if you think it was easier, just why don't you take it?
That's why I want to bring up the point about how colleges would probably know, like if you're taking the physical or digital SAT, similar to like when you pay College Board to report your scores and stuff to colleges. Like I don't see why they wouldn't know if you're taking physical or digital. At least for the junior year, right? Because it's still kind of a mix, like a hybrid situation.
But
So that's why I was like,
but when College Board give AP exams, they didn't specify digital or physical.
right. That's because the digital exam was digital for everyone when we first went digital, and then when we
No,
went
I
to
mean
a
in
hybrid-
last year. Last year was a hybrid year.
Yeah, but the test was the same for everybody. Like the same as in it was the same format and everything. But the digital SAT and physical SAT are completely like they have big differences.
Ah, I see. Oh,
Like-
that
like-
is true. Yeah, the
Yeah.
format was the same. It was just yeah.
Yeah, it was just like digital. I don't know how that affected the scores, but I foresee that might affect the scores differently for this one too. Like
How would it affect the scores? If it's negatively, I think I get what you're saying, but I don't know if it like. I don't know if it really.
I heard an interesting take on this from someone else. They said that because it's digital, it won't feel the same as taking on a paper test, and then so that they might like do worse on it because they don't have like they don't have the easeability of using like scratch paper, for example.
Actually, yeah, I actually wanted to talk about that. Like in my opinion, I think honestly the digital SAT is like good for people who like just want to get like a good score really quick. I think it's like it's really more time efficient and like I think it's easier to prepare for. And I think that'll ease a lot of students in America. But I also think that because of the fact that it's digital, And like for example, on like the reading passages, like some of the strategies that we've been taught on the paper SATs, like annotating, scratching stuff out. I guess they'll put like some of those features like highlighting on like a digital software on for the digital SAT, but I don't know. It doesn't just feel the same, and I think feel like it slows my thought process down, and it gets me out of the zone.
Especially highlighting with a mouse will be annoying compared to just using a pencil.
Yeah. So honestly, I would prefer like, I think the ideal test for me would be like all the same layout as the digital SAT, but like on paper.
But I think the reason College Board switched to digital, I don't know the details on this, but they said it will be more secure and cost less cheating.
Really?
I would
Yeah.
actually disagree, but I mean, I would compare more to like the AP exams. Like this is my thought process with the AP exams too, because if you think about it, right, the AP. So for example, if you take an AP exam like AP World History, where you need to know a lot of like historical knowledge and events and stuff, right? They say that they're going to lock down your device, but how does that really affect what you're going to do with other devices, for example?
Yeah.
Right?
No,
'Cause
don't you have to go to a testing?
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
not go to a testing center for this?
But
Is it at home?
I thought it was at a testing center.
Last year
for-
for AP exams, it was at home. So
It was
No,
at-
I mean the digital
No,
SAT.
digital SAT.
I thought you go to a testing center, but it's just like on a computer or something. Is it not? Is it from home?
I think it's from home.
no, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah,
I'm-
Brandon's right. You do go to a testing center.
Yeah, you go to a
Oh,
testing
okay.
center, and
I
so
don't-
yeah, you're not gonna pull up with your phone.
Oh,
There's
okay,
gonna be
okay,
a
gotcha.
proctor.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, my bad.
going back to the AP exam analogy, I just realized the digital test and paper test did actually change last year. Remember for world history, the paper test had an LEQ question, but the digital one was
Oh, that's right.
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
you're right.
The
Yeah.
digital didn't have
The-
the LEQ.
yeah,
We
it
had
had
more
just
SAQs on the digital,
Hmm.
and then
Yeah,
I think
right.
Oh yeah, but there was no specification given. Everyone gets like there. It doesn't say, "Oh, you got a 5 digital version," or "You got a 5 physical version." It's just
Well,
you
I
got
mean,
a 5.
do we no, but it says that from our perspective, but when they send it to college, like when we eventually send them to colleges, do they specify you get
You send your transcript. You can see everything that's on
Yeah.
your transcript.
Mm,
There's
And
no specification there.
SAQs.
I feel like if they don't specify, it kind of ruins the whole point of digital.
No, but we're
pilot,
just practice runs. Remember, right now,
Hmm?
it's not really fully in place like the digital SAT. I don't
And-
think that. I
I know-
honestly don't think it specifies if it's digital or not. I think it's just you just do it and you send your score.
Right, but saying that it's a practice run ruins the whole idea of having a testing pilot where you can report your scores, right? If it's a practice run, you shouldn't be able to report your scores. That wouldn't make any sense, especially if the practice run goes
The
so
only
well.
reason they offered that opportunity is for testing, like to test to see how well everyone does.
It's
Yeah.
a survey. It's a survey sheet thing.
Basically, a data. Like
Yeah, but it's a survey, but you can still send your score.
Yeah, you can still send your scores. That's what I'm saying. Ruins the whole aspect of it. Is like if it's a survey and you couldn't report your scores, it would make sense because they're just testing to see how it works.
Honestly,
you're-
I think the fact that you're able to send your scores is just a thing to help like the people calm down a bit and not get like angry over the fact that the later generations get a way easier version and you've been spending so much time studying for like the harder version. I think it's just like one of those things.
Well, I mean, is that a good thing then? Like college board trying to appease people instead of actually trying to be good.
And on top of that, it's like an incentive for people to actually take it because if you
Yeah,
can't,
I wouldn't take it if I wouldn't get to use it as a score.
why would you ever?
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
It gives us
No,
it gives-
and okay, but we're saying that taking it is a disadvantage to people who don't take it because it's potentially easier. Okay, first of all, we don't know if it's actually easier. Second of all, there's nothing stopping you from taking it. And then third, wait, damn, I forgot third. Hold on, give me a second. No, okay, what was I gonna say?
Bruh.
It was fair. Okay, so there's nothing stopping you from taking it. We don't know if it's going to be easier, and then.
Well, I mean, it is easier. Like,
But how do you
Yeah.
know?
because
Oh, and I remember third now. Okay, when you take the SAT, like you study the test. Like, okay, you study the material for half of it, but the other half of your study is studying the test, like the format and strategy specified to that test. The
Yeah.
upcoming digital version, no one has taken that. There is no, as of right now, with the information they've given us, there is no possible way to study the test. You know what I'm saying? So at least for
Well, I mean,
this
there
first
is.
run. Okay,
So
how? How do you
okay,
start? You don't even know what
so
the reading section looks like.
no, let me respond to you with 2 points. The director at the College Board said that the digital ICT will, like, she literally said word for word that it'll be easier, it'll be more relevant, is because
And
they
it
said
will
that.
like reflect a wider range of topics that are
Yeah, because previously the SAT is known for being tricky with all these kind of various like trick questions, right? So they
Yeah.
said that math problems will be less wordy. It'll be more direct to the point. Reading passages will be shorter. And then in general, statistics have shown that like that's where the problem is with reading. Like that's where students get most of it wrong. Is because straight up like the reading passages are so long that students have like struggle with time issues and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So in that way, it's easier. Not necessarily the content itself is easier, more that it's easier for the student to get through the entire test and in general do better. And then with the whole topic about like preparing for the digital SAT would be different than the physical SAT. Technically, it wouldn't, because if you're preparing for a harder version of the SAT already, then preparing for the digital SAT should be easier. At that point, it
No,
should be the same thing.
you cannot prepare for the format.
No, Yarshan,
The
I
form,
think
I mean, the
you're
format will
talking
be
about it
easier.
like
But you
talking.
can like okay, but
Wait,
like okay, let
bro.
me use a different.
like you
Let me
can't
think of an
practice,
analogy then.
you can't practice for the format. You can't.
Yeah, because
I
there
understand
is no
what you're saying.
practice. This is the first one. That's what I'm saying.
I
It might not be. I mean, it'll be easier in the way that they say, but it might not be like a free attempt.
This wasn't an
Well,
issue.
yeah. I'm not saying that it's like free attempt. Obviously, that's kind of dumb, right? If
Okay,
you're
I
just
mean,
like,
okay, Yarshan, you gotta consider the fact that you can also like choose to just cancel your scores if you want to too. Like, you shouldn't be scared of the fact that it's an entirely different test, and the fact that we haven't prepared for the exact format of it.
No,
Like,
but not
like
for us.
other
But for, like, freshmen, they can't really cancel their scores because they.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, no,
why
they
not?
can. But like that they're stuck with that. They can't go back and take the original SAT.
Well, I mean, they never had the chance to take the original SAT because
Yeah, exactly.
like
No,
or
but
sorry, I don't know.
I'm not worried about a bad score. I don't even know if I'll take the digital one, but I'm not worried about like a bad score. I'm just saying that because you can't take practice exam, like you can't practice the format, you won't be able to get the same practice in as you would a normal SAT. Therefore, even though the test is easier, it's not like, oh, if I studied for the original, I'm guaranteed like basically perfect score on the digital. Like there's still at least a little bit of a gap.
Right, but I think at the end of the day, though, like I think that changing format will be overcome by the fact that like just simply enough that there's that students can take it multiple times, just like the physical SAT, right?
Well,
So
not
like,
us, not juniors.
well, yeah, no, I'm saying like everyone after us pretty much will be
So
able
the,
to take it multiple
But the
times.
point that we're saying is about juniors, right? Because we're the hybrid group.
Well, yeah, I guess in that way it's not as free anymore of an option.
so this wasn't a problem back in like when they changed from 2400 to 1600 because they just removed a section. That's all they did. Like the format was still pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
So like what they removed was, I'm pretty sure it was the essay section. I don't remember.
Essay. It became optional.
Yeah, they just removed
Yeah.
that section. So the format was still the same. So people who had to transition wasn't that hard because they just had to not practice for the essay section. That's all they had to do.
Yeah. I mean,
So
this is definitely a much more drastic change.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they took out essay section, and they took out subject tests. Thank God.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely a much more drastic change than anything previously done.
Yeah, and I think we can definitely talk about it more, but the issue is that like College Board doesn't really go into anything specific about it, which I
Yeah.
guess is kind of the point, right? With the whole digital pilot, like you're supposed to leave the students in the dark so to see how they do, like first try, just
Yeah.
without any experience into it. But I don't know. We'll have to see how students do with this digital pilot and see how that affects their scores and stuff.
So in a
Mhm.
long-term perspective, I can see why College Board did this because standardized tests are frankly not that useful.
Mhm.
Because let's say if you're trying to become a computer programmer, like colleges are trying to look for something you did related to comp sci, like your unique skill set. And standardized tests, like by making it easier, colleges are going to start looking at like Shriten said, like other stuff that are related to your major, which is good.
Yeah, I actually think that's a really good thing, right? Because it kind of emphasizes like students to go into extracurriculars and actually have a life out of studying, you know? I mean, I would know because that's pretty much me, all right? Like I don't do much other than studying and stuff, so
So you're saying that colleges will be paying more attention to more your speciality because of the fact that a lot of the
yeah,
standardized stuff is starting to be less and less valuable.
Yeah. So if you're going to like, for example, like the service industry or like the healthcare industry, they will look more at your like volunteer stuff, right?
Okay.
Volunteer experience.
Yeah.
So I think in general it's a good thing for students because it places less pressure on them. And it's definitely good in students for that way, but I think it's also because like College Board wants to make a profit off the SAT like even more than it used to
Mhm.
because they used to spend so much money printing like printing paper tests. But yeah.
This is a profit for College Board, but obviously like a huge downfall for testing centers like KD, like testing preparations like KD, because they have to completely change their curriculum and teach new things. So
Man, who cares? Doesn't affect me. Doesn't affect me in the slightest.
Yeah. I mean, so the thing with Katie, right? So me and Mishi went to Katie before, and they have this
Yeah.
like thing they had this thing on a wall where it's like the perfect 1600 wall. It's basically they have a picture of every student who's got a 1600 on the test that's gone to Katie prep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll definitely be seeing a lot more. I'll just like a lot more students on that.
yeah, because it's obviously easier.
Yeah, I actually don't know how Katie will be affected by that, but I mean that's not College Board's concern anyways because they're not
Bruh.
affiliated with them.
You probably don't even know who. Yeah.
Yeah.
KD.
The only one College Board's affiliated with is Khan Academy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I think they said that they'll have like more like practice tests or something for the digital SAT.
Yeah, they said they're gonna add prep materials for the digital SAT onto Khan Academy soon. I don't know.
Oh
what.
wait, do you think those practice tests are already available for the digital pilot, or is that after the pilot?
I'm not sure. I mean, I went on to Khan Academy earlier today, and I didn't see anything related to the digital SAT.
Gotcha. Okay. And I
Dang,
think
I
that,
just realized Khan Academy has been a digital SAT.
well, I mean, yeah,
Like
Yeah,
I've been practicing for that.
that's what I'm saying.
Dang.
Like-
No,
It's
it's format of the physical one.
that
It's
is
not a
different. Everything.
format.
No, but
Wait.
like I mean, like I can't annotate the reading section on Khan Academy, but like if I get those questions right, that means I can do reading sections without annotating.
It's
And
just
then
practice has been in KD, and I haven't done a lot of Khan Academy practice, so that's a
Yeah.
problem for people who did the
I
practice.
was actually kind of curious. Why did they change from traditional paper to digital in the first place?
Profit. Well, to put it simply, profit, because it's expensive to create a lot of paper copies.
Yeah, so
That's
this next
it?
week is good. I mean, business is business.
I mean,
like
yeah.
profit is probably that. So yeah, it's like well, I mean,
You're
obviously
saying the
that's one
only
main reason.
reason is profit?
No, okay, that's one reason. But some of the
Maybe
other reasons
maybe it's
like
a
College Board
factor.
sites.
If
Yeah.
you ask me, it's because College Board's on its last legs.
I mean, yeah, we can have a
Yeah.
whole discussion. You want to let's just talk about that. What do you guys think about the whole like?
College
yeah,
Board's on its okay. There are already colleges who have SAT optional, right?
Not even
There
like
are already colleges that are like, you know what? Yeah, we don't need your SAT.
not
Bro,
even
if nobody has to do an SAT to get into college, College Board is over. Like
Okay,
they're
okay.
finished. Thanos snapped. Gone.
I think the optional part is about. I think it was really mainly about COVID-19. I think
yeah,
it'll start
Yeah,
like,
it was COVID, but there's still colleges
Yeah,
that
but
don't
it was-
that don't need it.
Because
No,
of
no, no,
COVID,
okay.
I'm
but
pretty
they
sure those
realized
colleges
that
are playing that
SAT isn't
that
that
back.
important. They went with it.
So there's some nuance in the situation. Of course, it started because of COVID, but like even now, like even like I've got emails saying that through 2024, like top colleges will be going SAT and ACT optional.
Exactly.
But on top of that, I think that regardless of them going optional, a lot of what I've heard from past college advisors is that they're still going to consider students like if a student takes like let's say you have two students, right? And they're both like exactly the same in terms of like experience, like awards, honors, etc. But one of them is taking the SAT and done good on them. That's still going to affect their application,
Yeah.
right? Like it's totally optional. Like yes, you can apply,
The
but that
mi-
doesn't mean that. Go Rishi.
No, basically, I think what Shriden is talking about, the mindset you're supposed to have is like you can take it if you want to, but it's recommended because even if you have the same criteria or a set of skills that another person has, it'll give you the edge because of the fact that you took the SAT and then they didn't. So you're probably better for like probably gonna graduate their college. Like you have a higher chance of graduating their college more than this other guy.
Also,
Yeah,
what
but
do you
for
have
how long?
technology access for the new SAT? Like,
What do
What
you
do you
mean
mean?
technology? You
Like-
go to
how like will students be? What if students are unable to have access to technology?
it's at a
Yeah.
center, right?
I think they'll give you like computers or
Yeah,
something.
it's I don't think you bring your own thing.
If
Oh
it's
wait, no, but wouldn't the computers wouldn't the
But those are-
technology be more expensive than just printing paper?
Well, no, you
No,
get
they'll
the
probably
tech,
just-
but it's a one-time expense. Where
It'll-
paper, you
it'll-
got to do it every time.
I don't know when they say tech centers, I think it's legitimately just a computer lab in a school. So it'll be exactly like how it is
Yeah.
before, where it's like school testing centers, but instead of having like rooms of printed paper, they have just used the computer labs that exist already.
I don't think even if we just use all the computer labs in school, I still don't think it'll like accommodate all the students who want to take
Yeah.
the SAT.
It's not
Yeah,
enough
because they
people.
don't have enough computers for that.
I think students can use their own device or a school issued device.
Okay, so so then would they?
You can
Ooh,
use
Some
download
schools
spyware.
Your own,
Some schools
or-
don't have issue devices.
So is it at a testing center then? Because if they can use their own device, I don't see why would it be at a testing center in the first place.
So you don't cheat.
Yeah.
No, if you could use your own device.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You
You
might-
probably get a device and you go on lockdown or
Despite
something.
the fact that you have a device,
What if you don't have
still have to-
lockdown installed in your personal device?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
I
there'd
mean,
be a
there's
proctor.
obviously going to be like connectivity and power issues though. That's not
Ah,
that's a given,
imagine.
dude. That was so annoying.
Imagine.
That was so annoying with AP exam. I heard like apparently there were like thousands of students that like straight up just their Wi-Fi went out or like the College Board app was so bad that
No,
they
the
couldn't
problem
take
was as soon as they finished their test, like especially in like when we were in ninth grade, we had the
it. Yeah.
AP Human Geography exam, right? That was like the
Yeah.
first digital AP exam we had.
Mhm.
And I remember like for a lot of students, there was a problem with the fact that like they finished their test, but when they submit it, it wouldn't load, and the timer was still running,
Yeah.
and then time was
Thank-
running out.
Thank God my College Board app was working. Like actually, God
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
good. Straight up, like I think I would have actually had like a breakdown if my AP test didn't submit. But
I remember seeing like TikToks.
I mean, this I'm glad it worked, but it actually took me 1 minute. Like it took off 1 minute, which wasn't an issue, but I feel bad for like the guys that lost like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
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 All right. Anyone else have any?
Technology.
Yeah. Anyone else have any other comments they want to add before we conclude?
How did we start this conversation? It was like College Board was like limited time or something.
We basically said that they were. Well, I mean,
Basically
We
called
said-
them dog water.
Okay, no. Okay,
no,
wait.
we-
That was a point I wanted to bring up. Okay, so like
we
we
said they were on
the
their knees pretty
main,
much.
we said the main reason they were on their knees.
Okay. Okay.
No.
No.
Okay, the main reason that's it. The main reason was you guys said the main reason that they were switching was profit because the paper's expensive. I was gonna bring up like another reason would be that because colleges are making it optional, it's only a matter of time before SAT is phased out completely. So they're doing everything they can to make it like
Yeah.
easier.
They're on the last.
Okay, it's like
last
if someone doesn't want to take the SAT because it's optional, right? Then like if they really don't want to take it, if they feel like they're not prepared, they're not going to take it. That's a loss of profit for College Board. So they
Mhm.
make an easier version, so
Right,
people
yeah.
are more inclined to be like, I can still get a good score on this, and then they take it, and College Board still makes money.
I see.
Right.
So okay, I see the thought process, but I think it's like from my viewpoint, I think theoretically it's kind of counterintuitive because if you make it easy, then colleges are still going to think, hey, it's optional. But I don't know. Well, we have to see how it plays out, right? Because at the moment, no one's actually taken the digital SAT yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I personally think it benefits the College Board the most. Obviously, we talk about profit, right? I think that it also benefits students in some capacity because they have more time now to focus on other things than the SAT. and also because they made it easier in some aspects. But I think at the end of the day, College Board is also harming themselves because they're not making the test more relevant like they say they are because of the fact that it's easier now.
I mean, I don't know, bro. I think like half the stuff we're saying now, I think it's purely theoretical and
It's
purely
speculation. Yeah.
speculation. No one's ever really taken it. We can't really ask anyone how it really is.
Time will tell.
Yeah, just time will tell. Until it plays out, unless people have actually experienced the actual test, then only we can make like actual like assumptions and conclusions based on it. So
Yeah.
all right, guys. So these are our opinions on the new digital SAT. Let us know what you think in the comment section down below if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're listening on any other platform, send us an email at afterthebellrings.podcast@gmail.com for more recommendations and questions. We hope you enjoyed this episode of After the Bell Rings, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.